All right, let's get right into it. Are you even thinking about building a new gaming PC in 2026?
Well, before you go and spend a single penny, you have to see this. Seriously, stop, because the graphics card you pick, it could be a massive, massive mistake. Welcome to the front lines, folks. This is the 2026 GPU war.
In one corner, we've got the reigning champ, Team Green, NVIDIA. And in the other corner, the challenger, the underdog who's been clawing their way to the top, Team Red, AMD. Let's meet our fighters.
You're looking at two totally different ways of thinking here, and they're both fighting for your wallet. So let's get right into round one, the price.
Okay, so NVIDIA has always charged a premium. We all know this. But the real question is, are you actually paying for a better product, or are you just paying for that fancy logo?
Okay, I know what you're going to say when you see these numbers. But look, it's not just about the price tag. You're not just buying a piece of hardware. You're buying into the whole NVIDIA ecosystem, the drivers, the software, all the features. That's what a simple chart like this just can't show you.
Premium features? Are you kidding me? Give me a break. That's just a fancy way of saying greedy pricing. For years, gamers have been getting nickel and dimed, overpaying for stuff like VRAM, and honestly, people are getting sick of it.
I mean, a 25% price difference? That is huge. So let's see if that premium actually gets you premium performance where it really counts. It's time to talk about pure, raw, unadulterated power.
All right, we're talking rasterization here. This is pure gaming performance, without all the fancy ray tracing bells and whistles. And in this ring, these two cards are just trading punches like a couple of heavyweight boxers.
And boom, see? This is exactly what I'm talking about. In a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows, the cheaper 9070 XT is a whole 15% faster. That's not a small difference. That is a massive win for Team Red, and for your bank account.
Whoa, hold on a second. You just switch games and bam, look at Black Myth. The 5070 Ti jumps ahead by 12%. That is the consistency you pay for with NVIDIA. It's an architectural advantage. This whole back and forth thing is the story of this generation for sure. But what happens when we flick on the real eye candy?
Right, let's get into ray tracing, the tech that gives you those mind-blowing realistic lights and reflections. For years, this was NVIDIA's kingdom, no question. But AMD says their new RDNA 4 architecture has made some huge leaps. Let's see if that's actually true.
So what you need to understand from all this technical jargon is that AMD isn't just playing catch-up anymore. They've fundamentally improved the tech from the ground up. This is not the one-sided beatdown it used to be.
Improved? Sure. Caught up? No way, not even close. When you push ray tracing to the absolute limit, the 5070 Ti doesn't just win, it absolutely destroys the 9070 XT. I mean, we're talking about a 78% lead. It's not even a competition at that point. But hey, most games don't just rely on lighting anymore. The real war is now being fought with AI.
Okay, so both sides are now using AI to boost frame rates. It's called upscaling. NVIDIA has DLSS, AMD has FSR, and believe me, in 2026, the software is every bit as important as the hardware itself.
So you've got NVIDIA's tried-and-true DLSS on one side, and on the other, AMD's new and improved FSR. So when you put these AI technologies head-to-head, who actually wins? Well, the answer might just surprise you.
You gotta see this. We're looking at an average across 22 different games, with their best upscaling tech turned on. And the performance difference is just 2%. 2! That's basically a tie. The cheaper AMD card is giving you the exact same frame rate as the so-called premium NVIDIA card. Just let that sink in for a second.
But hang on, frame rate isn't everything. It's about image quality. And DLSS 4 still gives you a cleaner, more stable picture. That visual clarity, that's a huge part of the experience. Yeah, the gap has closed, I'll give you that. But NVIDIA still has the edge in quality. And this whole thing isn't just about charts and numbers anymore. It's about what's happening in the gaming community.
Exactly. We're seeing a real shift. People who have been with Team Green forever are finally switching to Team Red. They're tired of the prices, and they're looking for a company that actually competes on value. So after all this back and forth, where does that leave us?
All right, let's break it all down one last time. Lay all the cards on the table.
Look, NVIDIA is still the king when it comes to crazy heavy ray tracing and its whole feature set.
No one's denying that if you're willing to pay the price. But AMD, they've come to the table with a value proposition that you just can't ignore. We're talking basically identical performance with upscaling and more VRAM for a lot less cash.
So here's the bottom line. It all comes down to this. Do you stick with the market leader, the safe bet that holds 90% of the market? Or do you put your money on the underdog who's finally landing some real punches and actually fighting for your business?
The decision is yours. You've seen the data, you've heard the arguments. Who won this fight? Team Green or Team Red? The war for 2026 is on. It's time to choose your side.